flying, I'm motor gliding, moving on the ridge real low, looking like a streak of lightning. If you gotta go, go, motor gliding. Listen to me and I'll tell you no lie. Too fast to turn, too low to climb. I got a cool machine and everybody say, whew, takes your breath away, motor gliding.
Welcome back everybody to clip 8 of 12 clips dealing with a 427k flight in Condor virtual reality that took place over the Welsh landscape, starting in North Wales, going around various turning points, with the most remote being Fishguard, well down the Welsh coast, almost towards South Wales, and then coming back again into the mountains of North Wales. The task was flown as a competition task in March 2021. 23 competitors, only 4 completed, so it was a hard task. The winner managed 131 kph and a time of 3 hours 15 minutes. This one I'm flying on here, I did in October 2022 at a speed of 82 kph, a lot slower, but then I was being a lot more cautious, a lot less experienced, not carrying water ballast, wanting to stay high, wanting to enjoy myself. And the other point about this is I'm flying, you won't see him until I press unpause and start the whole thing, this replay running. But I flew with the ghost of myself, because I flew the task originally in late spring 2021. I didn't keep a replay of the flight, and then when I started making these YouTube videos and wanted to do a series to cover this very interesting flight, very interesting tactically. I mean, it's not as dramatic as the big mountain flights, but nice landscape nonetheless. But it's very challenging. This one much more challenging than those flights. I sort of thought, well, you can load up the ghost from your flight track of that task last year and then follow him around, and that should get you round. However, this is the point where things took a bit of a change, because in the last clip, we were running back up the Welsh coast from Fishguard, going along quite nicely. You can see I'm actually nearly 2,000 feet here, incredibly enough, just by bimbling along this coastline. Not quite sure how I've done that, but it all went fine. And now we're approaching turning point 4 at Aberystwyth. And I remember on the original task that I did back in 2021 that I got into real trouble here, because I did the turning point and then I looked at the turning point beyond this and how I needed to cross a very big estuary with not a lot of height and no clear idea in the haze of where I would find lift at the other side of it. And I kind of sort of chickened out, I think, and I headed inland. There's Aberystwyth there at about 1 o'clock on the nose. And after Aberystwyth, I sort of chickened out and headed inland to those hills there, a bit like I've kind of done in the past. I've got a bit of previous form for doing this kind of thing, thinking perhaps I could bank up some height there and then think about trying to get across that lot. However, I really struggled to stay aloft as I got to those hills, and I recall flying S-turns very low down, and it was nearly game over. It really was, and it completely illegal flying. If you did that kind of thing in real life and the local bobbies spotted you or something like that, or anybody reported you, you'd be in big trouble, I think. Very dangerous flying. But anyway, it's virtual reality. This is not real life. So I think at this point, and because of some previous experience I'd had flying with the ghost, who'd nearly dumped me on the second clip, you can see it happening. I think I sort of thought, I'd like to try and do the rest of this task on my own way. And I'd like to find out what happens. I didn't at this point, when I flew this task the second time, I hadn't looked at the trace of the winning competitor when it was an online competition. So I didn't have any knowledge on that. It was just my own original thinking, as it were. And that's what I decided to do. But anyway, let's watch what happens. I'll just lift the visor a second and start the game playing. Off we go. Game, replay, whatever. And off we go. And there's my ghost, 3.3 kilometres ahead of me. I'm assuming that's kilometres. And as we're about 5.2 kilometres from Aberystwyth turning point, they are pretty close to the turning point indeed. And I think it's after they've turned that turning point that you'll see them start to track off to the right. And I think that's them heading for the hills like I did originally in 2020-21. 2020-21, that's interesting. 2021 or 2021, take your pick. But not both concatenated like that, makes no sense. Right, so there, let's see, 3.3, okay. We're still going along at 60 knots airspeed in +1 knot climb just off of this stuff down here, even though we're at 2,000 feet. Don't know whether you would do quite that well in real life, but anyway. So the Ghost must have passed the turning point by now, just about, I think. So let's try and imagine we're inside his head. He's gone past the turning point. He's now looking at the bearing to the turning point after that, and starting to think, how on earth do I get across that bay? And I want to get round this task. I don't care how long it takes, but I hate to have gone this far on this task and get something wrong and land out. Wouldn't be a pleasant land out either. You might end up having to kind of sort of land in the water across that inlet. Not a good place to be. So let us see. Yeah, there's the Ghost starting to move off to the right. So they've obviously decided they can't. They've chickened out trying to get across that estuary. I've probably kept a bit more height than them as well. Perhaps I've done that much because I knew that this was going to be a particularly challenging bit, and height could be a real help to me. Now you won't see this on your screen, but when you do a replay in Condor, a replay control box comes up. It happens to be seen exactly where I want to look at the compass. So every time I want to look at it now, I'm going to have to kind of do a strange movement to the side like that, or kind of peer over it. So if I seem to make some strange head movements, that's why it'll be. So there's the barrel. We're just approaching that turning point. And as you can see, the next turning point is somewhere like that over the sea. Well, we can't go there, but we do need to get across this next unpromising bit of land. And we're heading north, so the wind is sort of like bearish or something, probably. We're going to turn green. There's a little turning green. Right, okay. I'll now probably change the PDA to give me the bearing. And I might be keeping it on the map just to try and get an idea of the contours. I'm probably trying to work out what exactly the contours of the land are. Beyond that estuary, and I don't think I'm finding the map terribly helpful. I'm struggling to relate the features I'm seeing out of the cockpit to the features on the map. I think perhaps it's because where I need to see is not come onto the screen yet. It's off of the top of the screen. Yeah, because that's the straight section of the kind of sandbar, well not sandbar, that sort of beach in the estuary. At the moment I'm not getting much lift from these. Perhaps I could be slightly further forward, but as you can see it's all getting a bit iffy. And also of course, well, what am I thinking? I'm probably thinking those are so modest, those clefts. Now quite why I'm getting lift here all of a sudden, I don't know. Perhaps it thinks that little bit there is reducing lift, although yeah, maybe so. Yes, I suppose it might, just a little bit. I guess these are all the caravan parks down here, aren't they? Amazing. Okay, so I think I'm looking at this and thinking I can get across that estuary. But the thing is, what exactly is it that's lying? Let's just have a last look at the Ghost as he disappears. Yeah, he's disappearing back into there. I think he's starting his battle. Yes, you can see what he's gone and done. He's got himself in the fold of those hills over there. and he's now probably, what are we? We're kind of northerly, so if the wind is kind of like there-ish, yeah, he's going to get himself into the lead of that sort of hill, one of the hills if he's not careful. So he's got to, he's got to be careful about how he works those folding hills to try and survive. And he does it. He does. I remember I did it, okay. But it was all a bit kind of like having to jump from one to the other and slowly work my way further back up the line of hills to get up there. And then I think basically after that, I went off on a completely different route back into those mountains there, probably crossing way back inland somewhere over there, and then being caught up in those mountains, which gave me good lift, but we're way off track, so it was a huge detour. And I don't want to do that detour this time, so I'm going to risk all and go this way. But the problem is trying to work out where I'm going to find a lifting slope the other side of this estuary, because I too have got to be very careful. But it looks as though it's got slope enough to actually do something. Anyway, I'm committed now. That's what I'm going to do. Twinkling on the water. Can you see along that sandbar there? Well, sandbar I call it, that straight bit of beach. How another line, almost like with the maps joined. There's pale water off the beach and the water suddenly goes very dark. And at that point there's a kind of something twinkling. I have no idea what it is. Very strange, these things you get in virtual reality. Yeah, my ghost is still kind of like struggling away there to try and save his backside. I mean, the only good thing in that situation, of course, is he does have the option to give up and glide back out towards the coast, recovering some height above ground, which then puts him above those kind of pastures and things where he can do a field landing. But of course it'd be game over. And what's this? That's Aberystwyth there. It doesn't say what this little bit is called. So, right, at this point I can start to get a better idea of the contours of the land, and it does look as though there will be something. But you see what I mean about the maps on the PDA. It's a little hard to know how to interpret them because they're pretty basic. Still, they're better than nothing, that's for sure. No idea why I did that. It seemed to have suddenly kind of changed a bit. What my ground speed is, I'm not on the right screen to tell. But we are sort of, to some extent, trying to fly into wind, not fully into wind, but the wind is kind of like there-ish. But I'm starting to get more optimistic because the land is gently rising into wind, and so I would hope that one way or another I can do something with it. What I'm really hoping is that when I look at that line of hills, there seems to be a definite kind of horizon where there could be some interesting things. I mean, there's always the going around the coast option as well, if you can. That's a risky one. Could I get as far as that headland there? And if I did, quite what would it lead me into? I don't really know. Anyway, let's see what I do. I'm just assessing things as I go along, how much height I'm losing and what the options might be. Yeah, I think my strategy is to try and aim for that headland, which I don't really think I'm going to make it to. as I'm really far too much flying into wind here. But the moment I decide I can't make it, well, I can sort of just settle for this slot. And in fact, even now I can already see what looks like quite a promising ramp, just ever so slightly to the right of the nose, which I should be able to do something with, and then I could go back in there a bit, and then just... It's a constant game of reassessment on a task like this. You know, with no pre-planning, so you have no idea what you're going to meet next. And as I say, the resolution in a VR headset in Condor is not like real life. I mean, it's like flying on a day. I often say it's like flying on a day with not terribly good viz, so that things just are hazed out a bit, thrown into sort of like slightly two-dimensional silhouettes. But yeah, you know, you couldn't see any of this detail from not very far off, but now it's becoming really obvious that there's a good opportunity here. What is this town? Doesn't it want to show me on the map, does it? No. So let's see what I do. I bet what I'm thinking is, well, I'm just going to see what it'd be like if I tried to go for that headland, because I'm pretty confident now that at any moment I've only just got to jig right. There you go, there's me doing it right now. I've decided to jig right. I'm obviously not going to try and make that, and I'm going to get onto this kind of stuff and get it to start lifting me up with any luck. Not doing it yet. We've really got to get round a bit more, haven't we, onto the windward slope. I mean, at the moment we're flying sort of, well, not quite directed to wind, but the wind's about there. So maybe sort of quite soon round here we'll start to see something we can work. Yep, starting to happen. What am I thinking now? Part of that is I'm completely heading in the wrong direction to get to Turning Point, but that's not the point. I mean, we've got to get some energy in the glider, some height, whatever, and fly up. I'm probably thinking, okay, well, let's just try one more little beat on this, see whether it's worth it, and if not, we probably need to jump to the next one. Right now that's working okay. Been looking out all the time for my next opportunity. Yeah, so am I going to jump to the next one? Decided not to go around it, but to accept some sink and go straight at what I probably hope will be the best bit. I don't know. No, changed my mind again, for whatever reason. Perhaps as I get closer and I can start to see the actual contour of the hill, I don't know. Yes, I'm going to beat down this way. See, to some extent, I don't like to miss out any portion of the ridge, even though this is not the promising end of it, perhaps, because I just want to see how long a beat I might be able to do. But probably I have already started to be seduced away by this one over here. Yes, I probably sort of thought, why bother with that? This looks better. And this is the kind of thing that the detail is not quite good enough to sort of see in advance. So, you know, they only sort of reveal themselves as you get quite close. So I think I've decided, yeah, I'm just going for this one. I might even be thinking that if I went for this one and it was good enough, I could, I don't know, dive over to the next lot over there, but that's a big jump. Sort of going back round the coast, and I can't be sure what is the other side of the hill over towards that headland. Yes, and as you can already see, it's revealing a definite gap. So you have to get round that and get round the next. It's very difficult. But for now, I've obviously decided I've got a good bit here. Pleased about this because I can start to get height and there's lots of opportunities here. I mean, admittedly they involve sinking back into the hills a bit, but never mind that. But of course I know that in the end I've got to get somewhere. Where are we? What's the it's somewhere over there, I think. But you see, we're now getting into a nice collection of kind of gullies, bowls, you know, that kind of thingy, all blocked off, so that overall they should be catching quite a lot of the wind that's blowing into them. And you should overall have a good experience. And ahead over here, I mean, this looks quite jolly, doesn't it? And we're proceeding. We're having to work our way around a bit circuitously, but we're getting there. And at some point, I may get high enough to take a real, you know, dive right back over there, but one bit at a time. Meanwhile, my ghost must be somewhere way back over there, just beginning to get himself re-established. So whatever I've done is looking at the moment considerably better than what he's done. And it's nice not to be following him. I think this is partly why I did it. I thought, you know, I'd like to do at least some of this task. That I felt I'd just done it my way, not the way that the ghost did it last time, because, you know, it'd get a bit boring, wouldn't it? I don't know why I haven't just headed out a little bit further near the edge. I'm sure I'd have got stronger lift, but I think it's partly because I want to. I'm trying to ease my way around in a certain kind of way. I don't know quite what I'm thinking. But of course I have got somehow to get back on a track for the next turning point, because really at the moment I am just moving away from it. But how will I do that? Because it's good to get high, because as you get higher, all of a sudden the new opportunities start to reveal themselves. I can now see right across these hills to the coastline over there in the distance, somewhat ahead of the port wing. So that perhaps something like this point, I start to think you might be able to get across to there without having to be driven too much further off track. So what are you going to do now, matey? I think you need to cross this this valley. Not quite sure why I haven't gone for that very dark brown bit of hillside, because although I could ramp up to that one, but then you'd be facing more of an in-to-wind task to actually get to there. So if I could get to this brown one and somehow skip along it and over this ridge line beyond it, then that would be good. But it's a kind of a bit of a pushing into wind job now. Need to watch out for this. I can always, well, see how I go, and if and I can flee back to somewhere else, I suppose, if I need to. And we've got this little edge here coming up as well, which might give us a good kick. I think I'm trying to creep closer to this line of hills here, so at some point I can make it with certainty. But again, every time you stop in a bit like this, it's a bit like mountain climbing in a sense. You can say to yourself, right, we can push out from here, see if we can do that, and if we can't do that, we can come back to here. Right now, of course, the lift here is really quite remarkable, so I think I'm slowing up as much as I can. So you get that angle improving and improving and improving, and so it's really obvious that I've got enough height to actually launch my assault on that ridge and beyond, really. Then perhaps beyond this ridge, perhaps even to the one beyond it. I don't know. I'm not sure how far I decide to go. Let's see. Yes, because now we're most definitely in sync, so we've got to on that. There's a boulder pilot might have put their nose down rather more than I have, but I'm watching the angle. The way I'm thinking is as long as I can clear that ridge, I should be back in some strong lift, and then we can see how all that goes. If it gets too tricky, because more or less into wind here as well. Yeah, it's bad. I should probably have pushed on faster than this. It's easing off a little bit now, the sink, just a touch. But look how we're being pushed down. I mean, we are. It's quite scary beyond a point, sort of pushing fast like this, because you're just flying right at the hill. To some extent, at least if I keep a bit of a height, I can keep my options to. What am I doing here? Adjusting it a bit, hoping that perhaps the sink isn't quite so bad if I go towards this bit here. I don't know quite what the logic of that is in real life, though, because that would be in the lee of the hill over there, but it seems to have worked. Don't quite know how. And now it's obvious to me I can sort of make this, and then we can just reassess things. Now I wonder why I chose to do this, because really I should have been able to push forward to that edge there, which looks like a pretty good edge, rise on that, and then I could have dived across that inlet to the hills over there and been much further on my way. And I know this is good here, and it's certainly good. Wow, what a stunning lift on this edge. that's the end of this clip. Yeah, well, it's stunning lift on this edge, and I suppose in reality, actually, this is probably going to give better lift than that anyway, because it's a better, longer looking edge. So I can rise up high on this, and then I can probably just dive right across things anyway. I'm not sure, when we move to the next clip, I'm not sure whether we'll get to see quite what I did, because there's a point where you've got to edit out the stuff on a long task like this. I mean, it's 12 clips of some length anyway, so it's already long. I stick my clips put together, take up about as much time as the competition winner did when he did the task in 3 hours 15. But hey, didn't get to natter like I am. Right, anyway, that's the end of this clip. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, like and subscribe. And if I've worked out how to put the bell on the screen, click the bell for notifications. Whatever notifications will be, I don't know. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Look after yourselves. Thanks for joining me. And as usual, when I take off the headset, it'll look like I'm bailing out of the glider. Oh no, pretty lousy place to bail out, but there we go. I'll be blown right back over the hill, or else carried up on my parachute to great heights. Okay, bye for now.
Well, here I am again, the sky looks black. I got my best friend, she's riding in the back. We're doing about 95. Whew, it's good to be alive.